Hello and good morning. Happy Sunday. Happy Screeps Day. We're gonna play a little bit more Screeps Arena today. See if we can get a little bit, a few more wins with the spawn and swamp. Maybe get ourselves a little bit closer to earning the key for the next game mode. I think we're like a quarter of the way there or so. We need to beat a bunch of games in that sort of like the ladder mode that they have. So let's see, I've got this and that. So we're on Spawn and Swamp. Most recently, we've learned that our sort of style of creating these big giant creeps, even when we're having them sort of stay grouped together and attack anything that's closer to our spawn, isn't really working. We're losing way more often than we're winning, so we need to do something about that. I had planned on coming up with a strategy during a week, and I didn't really take too much time to think about it. So we need to come up with something on the spot here. I'm thinking probably a pretty massive shift, which is something else. Now we can just sort of like take a strategy from one of our opponents and sort of run with that. The most recent one that we saw was really interesting. Create these gigantic creeps that basically are tanks but can't move, hardly at all, and have another really fast creep sort of tow them around the swamp. That's an option. Another option is just to Zerg it. Just create as many of these, as many of our sort of like creeps as possible. Maybe give, we have our collectors, but we just go off on the attack right away. That might work. All right, so let's try that. Let's try the tons of creeps and just having them go off on the attack right away. So there's a couple things here. So first, under, let's see, I want to make you a little bit bigger and put you over here. All right, so global, let's see, for this roll, let's make these nice and small. So for an attacker, what if I were to just say, okay, you have, I don't know, one tough, you have a small ranged attack, to be fast. Like, what if I just did this? This would make them, oh no, need them to have move. That's the other thing, is I could make them not heal themselves. I could have attackers do melee and ranged attacks and just constantly moving up towards their opponents, and then have specific healers that just zip around and heal people. That's a possibility. So this would be the attacker. Let's get rid of all but one tough. Oh, for a collector, let's just say we don't want tough. We want like a carry and a move like this. So if we just do this, And for strategy, I just want just like spawn and constantly attack. I sort of feel that we're eventually going to need to run in, like, do a do like an actual real just strategy, uh something like, okay, we're going to have defenders at home. We're going to have to like maybe spawn a bunch of creeps for attacking and like put them into an army, so like the equivalent of like a army group in, like, you know, an RTS. And then once we have a big enough them, we do like an A attack move over to our the enemy base. So anything within a range of each of the creeps, uh, they attack it. Otherwise, they're going all the way to the enemy spawn and attacking that. I kind of like that idea, and perhaps we should just go straight there. So we're gonna have like a couple different states for ourselves. So first of all, we're gonna be in the we're gonna want like a defender, are we? So a defender. So let's have tough, ranged attack, and I guess melee attack too. So tough, ranged attack, and attack. I think also I'm gonna want to remove the heal from all of these. Oh, and move. Okay, I want to count, at the very least, counter all of these. So if we have 1, 2, 3, I need 3 of these. Okay, so for attackers, let's remove the heal. We have tough, ranged attack, and then melee attack. And then move, and then I want, okay, so 1, 2, 3, so at least, okay, so at least something like this for that. Healers. We'll want some armor. We'll want heal, and then I could do something like this. I think I'm gonna want them to move a lot faster. I think I saw something like a swamp adds 8 fatigue per tick. I think there's a way to actually calculate how we can move fast. But we can start with this and just see how far we get with it. Okay, so we do healers, collectors. We're gonna do carry and move, and then unknown is just, you know, crash. Okay, so if we do that, then back to swamp. We're gonna want state. Do we have a state? Not really. I'm also thinking about making this into a folder, so I can just break things out to different files. I feel like that was gonna make things a little bit nicer. Let's do a swamp. Okay, so we have mod swamp here. Oh, and then probably in mod swamp we'll have our pub function run. Why aren't you giving me any help? Okay, so we have you. This is okay. So for this, oh, because I probably have this in here. So let's move you into swamp like that. Then you should be happy. KO2 fan, hello. So then in main library, okay, so we have our arena spawn in swamp. And then run the thing. Okay, great. So then inside of here, let's do our okay. So that is a U32, right? It is a U32. Okay, great. So now we can start. I'll plan on sort of like taking a bunch out of the swamp here and reusing a lot of it. But so the big things and sort of like the main strategy, as it were, I want to we want to create. We probably want to sort of like a game state sort of setup. So let's create a game state. And we're gonna want something like this is where we just put all of our little stuff that we need. So in this case, we're gonna want to store like the for the spawning system. We're gonna want to always have one collector or like a certain number of collectors. So we need to know like how many collectors we have. So have collectors is going to be, we're going to start with a probably just an needs to be U8, and then we have a want collectors. Or maybe min collectors. which is also going to be a U8. We could implement default for this. All right, so have collectors, yeah, just be default. I want you to be min collectors. I want you to be, let's say I want like 3 of them. Everything else, just take from default. Oh, really? Okay, fine. Have collectors is interesting. I sort of figure that the dot dot would work for this. That like whatever the rest of these were, just do the thing. Well, that's too bad. Also, for self like this, I'm not going into myself. So that's not true. We've done this before and it worked out just fine. I'm kind of surprised why it thinks. I don't think this is going to cause an infinite loop, but we can verify that. Yeah, this compiled and finished running. So if I come back to here, maybe. Are you running? So let's initialize game state here. So let game state. Oh, you're not auto running. Okay. Now by doing this, I believe that we won't do anything anymore, which should be fine. So if I just do a quick warn, let's do a got game state. Okay, so if I do that, okay, there you go. Now you're fine. And if we just run a idle opponent here. Script execution timed out. All right. Maybe it is an infinite loop then? It's at some kind of loop here. I don't think that used to cause a loop, but maybe I'm just not thinking of it correctly. Okay, well, all right. We'll do have collectors 0. So that compiles you. All right, well, I gotta let you time out first. All right, so continuing on, because now we know that will work. We have our game state. We want to calculate all of the we want to like I guess like it probably wouldn't be default here getting this, or maybe it would be, and then we want to like initialize it. But if I get my list of, so like let my creeps equals get creeps, my is true. I want to switch this around so we have a default like that. Let's do an initialization of this. We'll take in a list of creeps. This will be obviously a vec of creep. I'm okay with this being a reference. And we're going to return a self at the end. So we start with let you need to be mutable. Homeless, hello. It's been a while. I'm doing good. How are you doing today? Then we're going to loop over all of our. Okay, we want to loop over all of the creeps here, and then we figure out what type of creep they are based upon their role that we had previously set up. You're doing good. It's hot outside. 33 degrees. Hold on. I need to do my conversion here. So 33 degrees. Oh, 91.4 Fahrenheit. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty hot. That's exactly what the high is going to be for me in my area today, is 91 or so. So that's yeah, I feel you. I feel for that. I went on a bike ride yesterday and it was also around the same temperature. So like I went early in the morning, hang out at a cafe inside in the air conditioned, waited until it cooled off a little bit, then rode home. Okay, so we do this. It looks like the summers are getting hotter. It does feel like that, doesn't it? Okay, so have this somewhere in here. Yeah, so here's this in it. So we do this. We iterate for each. Right, we get the role from the creep. And roles are part of this. So this is actually pretty easy here. So we can we'll loop through the vector of creeps. So creeps dot iter. Then I want to get the role. So role. Roll from this creep. Is that you need this type. Yes, at the very end, we need to return game state. Okay, so we get this role here. I need to match on the role. Okay, so if you're a collector, then I want to say game state dot have collectors plus equals to 1. Okay, so I want like a certain number of collectors. Let's just make sure we get that code up and working first. So we start building you out. And that's going to be, okay, that's going to be great. And we're going to sort of like set up our init of this. So back to you. Let's actually, game state is now init and pass it in a reference to my creeps. Great. Okay, so now that I have that, I want to run a spawner to spawn creeps. Okay, so I need our spawn. Okay, so that gives us a this structure spawn. I'm gonna want to create a probably not a struct. I might put this into its own file, but we need to spawn stuff. So spawner. All right. What do we want to do here? I don't think I need an internal state or anything else like that. I just need, I think, just a function to run with this. We can pass that state around though, which I think could be very helpful. So let's start with just run, right? So hub function run spawner. We'll take in a spawn. Structure spawner, and then we'll take in a state. We could return a no, not that type of result. I don't necessarily know what we're returning yet, but this would allow me to question mark some stuff. Okay, so let's start with that. Okay, so run spawner. What do we want to do with this? I want to determine, I guess like the first thing is determine what we need to build. Determine what role we need to build. So that would potentially be like a little function down here. So determine role, like needed role. And we'll take in the game state. And let's return a U. I guess it'll be a full role. All right, well, the first thing here, I guess is just gonna be a series of if statements. So if game state dot min collectors is less than state dot have collectors, then I want to earlier than later return roll collector. If we reach the very end of these, I want to return a roll. Like maybe you're just an attacker. Everybody else is an attacker. But okay, we don't have enough of these. Time to build them. I guess I shouldn't really return a result unless I absolutely need to. I'll make it a little bit easier on me. Okay, so we run the spawner. We determine what our needed role is. We now know we need a collector. So let's. I wonder if I want to craft the body here, so that way it's like very it's isolated, not necessarily part of like a global thing. Because I think things do seem to like matter only based upon what like per type of match. So I kind of like that idea. All right, so run spawner, needed role. Let's calculate the body. If the spawner can we tell if the spawner is busy? If the spawner is like actively, yes, I know you draw it. Thank you. If we can tell if the spawner is busy. I can't really see that right here. Structure spawn. I have like how much storage it has. Spawn creep. We just need to try to spawn a creep, and we'll get an error that it's busy, and that's it. That we don't really care. Okay. So in that case, we get the needed role. We want to build the body out so that the body is going to be, I guess, like just do needed role, create body for role here right now. I'm not completely convinced that that's where it should go, but I don't know. I'm okay with it right now. I'm only playing like one mode at a time, essentially. Okay, so body need a role, create body for role. So now we have a vec of body parts. I want to now attempt to spawn a creep. So that our result is going to be equal. Spawn creep. Pass it in a reference to the body. Okay, and we get this result creep and return code. So I'd actually need to handle this with a match. Because if we get the creep, I want to attach the roll to the creep, which I think, yeah, attach to creep. Oh, which is part of a self. Okay, so I can do needed role attached to creep and pass it in a reference to this creep. And that, I think that's fine. Like, I don't really care anything else. We just now know that we have this creep as a role and it's being created. Wonderful. If we have an error, so this is actually the return code. So I don't actually really care, do I? I'm just gonna keep on trying until it works. So, okay. Let's do an if let, okay. Creep equals that. And I guess that's pretty simple now. So we create a creep and we attach the creep. Okay, great. So run spawner. Oh, and you're on a vector. Okay, my spawn. So I should be able to just grab the first one out of here. Is that true? No, not completely true. So, I think I want to add in a function under global for this. So we have get creeps. I probably want to do a get, yeah. So pub function get spawn. I can option this just in the case that it completely and totally fails. So option, and you'll have a structure spawn. Okay, so let's return. All right, so this should be fairly simple. We can do our get objects by prototype, structure spawn, and then I want the first. Expected. Oh, what did you get? Oh, because you got a. Oh. Yeah, I want to grab the first one, but I also want to take ownership of it. Can I take ownership of this? Maybe I can clone you? Let's see. There's a thing that I can do to. I want to grab. Oh, okay, fine. Okay, so I could, maybe I'll just do an iflet. Iflet sum, this will be a spawn. Oh, I need to do this anyways to check to see if it's mine, right? So hold on. Okay, I need to loop through these. So let's all the spawns equals to you. I need to iterate through them and filter out. So I can actually do that here. So into iterator, filter. Okay, predicate. This is our spawn.my. Now this is gonna be interesting. There's actually several ways that we want to handle this. Okay, so spawn.mine unwrapper default equal to my. Okay, not collect into a vec of structure spawn. Okay, now that I know that I have a vector of structure spawn, I want to get the first one in the case that it exists. So if spawns.length, or actually if spawns is empty, so if you're not empty, then I want to return the first one. So return a sum spawns of 0. Otherwise, we're going to return a none. Which makes you happy. Okay, so now I can get spawn my. Okay, so now that I have this, oh, and in this case, I can unwrap this because I know that we have a spawn. If we don't have a spawn, game is over, so who cares if we crash? Okay, so now that gives me a structure spawn. I can now pass in my spawn into here. Run the spawner. Why are you upset? Expected a reference to structure spawn. Found a reference to a vec of structure spawn. Oh. Yeah, because I shadowed it by accident. There we go. Now you're happy? Okay, great. Now, running the spawner, I should. Yeah. Okay. What are you upset about? Spawns cannot move out. Sure. We'll just clone. This will be fine. Okay. If we run this, we should. We should tie, but we should see our spawner actually building. Yes. We got unreachable really quickly. We didn't get that error warning, so three moves: an attack, a ranged attack, and a tough. Well, that seems wrong. Okay, hold on. I gave that the wrong type, didn't I? Okay, so if the min collectors, so the minimum collectors we want, if that is less than the have collectors, no, I want this the opposite way. I want if have collectors is less than game state dot min collectors. It created an attacker right away. It should create 3 of these before it runs into that that problem. And okay, this is much better. So here you go. You have move and carry, and that's it. And you're creating 3 of them really, really quickly. Okay, great. Let's actually here. We'll just say this. If you if we don't know what role to get, just create more collectors, and that'll be fine. We'll figure that out. I wonder if I can actually do a default here. We'll set this as a collector right now. Then we only have to change that there. Later on, as we sort of add new roles that we're handling. Okay, so we get this collector. We're spawning the collector. Okay, so back to this. I want to loop through all of my creeps and essentially run them. Do I need to like update a current state of them? Not for collectors. Collectors are just find the closest source of energy. Oh, well, they do have state. Is that true? Do collectors have state? Kind of, but not really, because they can grab... When they do the transfer, they can grab it all at the same time, which should make it easy. So we can run this. So let's do run collectors. Okay, so we'll take in a... Let's see, for a collector, we need a spawn. Oh, we need a creep. We need a spawn. All we care about is our spawn, so that's it. So just spawn. This is a structure spawn, and that should be it. All right. The first thing here, if we have any amount of energy in us, so we can do a function have energy. And this is going to be a very simple calculation. We can just do creep dot store dot get used capacity, get free capacity. I always forget which one I want to do. Free capacity is how much we get used. If free capacity is 0, I'm carrying something. If used, returns the free capacity for the store. For a limited store, it returns the capacity available for the specified resource if resource is defined and valid for this store. Get used capacity, returns the capacity used by the specified resource. For a general purpose store, it returns total used capacity if the resource is undefined. Okay, so if it's used, so I can check to see if this is greater than 0. Or rather, if it is 0, then I'm not using my store at all. So, okay, get used capacity. So, used capacity. This could be a none, so it's any amount. If that is, I want this to be greater than 0, means that I have energy. And if I do have energy, then I want to move to the spawn and attempt to transfer into it. So okay, so we're gonna do if creep dot transfer. Our target is gonna be the creep. Sorry, not the creep, the spawn. The resource type is going to be resource type energy, and the amount is none, so it's a full amount. If that is return code not in range, then creep dot move to spawn, and that's it. We're done. And I don't need to return anything here. Okay, so in the other side, we do not have any energy, so time to go find energy. So I need to find containers. Do I have those? I have object to container, containers to array. No, I do not. Just simple enough, but it just wraps it around this this function to give it a name. Okay, so I want to now get the containers. So let our containers equal and I guess I want to filter out the ones that have like with energy. So into iterator, we'll filter. I want my container store probably of get used capacity of a type. So that's going to be a sum What was that? That was resource type. Energy. Okay, so if that is greater than 0, so I want to return that greater than 0. So I can just do this. And then we're going to collect together and return that as the vector. Okay, so get containers. With energy, true. Okay, so now have a vec of these. I want to get the closest container. So I think in here we have containers to array. So if I turn the containers into array, I can then find the closest of them. Okay, so let's get. Okay, so it's going to be let closest container equal to group dot find closest by path. Positions is going to be this containers to array. Pass it in a reference to the containers. Options, none. Okay, so that gives me an option now. Let's do this as an if let. Okay, so I now have an object of the closest container to me. I want to attempt to collect from it, but I do need to turn this into a container, but I have that object to container. So this should definitely work because we already found it. Okay, so then let container structure contain. Okay, so I have the structure container. I want to attempt to withdraw from it. So if dot withdraw from the container, the resource type is going to be resource type energy, and the amount is a none, so it's a full amount. That equals return code not in range. Group dot move to the container. Otherwise, that worked, and we were able to successfully get this. Okay, so if we have two ifs here. So if this if fails, I'm not in range. Well, then I should have, okay, so I think what I'm going to do is to move to, I want to return and exit out of the function here. with this one, find the closest by path. That's actually, you know what? I don't need a return here. I'm gonna do an else on you. So we don't find any containers that have energy in them whatsoever. So that means I want to just head back to my spawn, just to be safe there. So let's do creep dot move to spawn, and that's it. Okay, we'll shield it with our bodies. So this should start collecting all of the energy. So if I now run spawner, I need to loop through my creeps to find what role they are. So we're gonna do a my creeps, get an iter. Wolfie Dev, hello. Screeps, yeah, I know. So this is a brand new game that the Screeps company has come out with. It is in beta. It's in still early access still. Possibly not even beta. I think it might be early, like alpha. But it actually is a lot of fun. So let's do a roll from, pass it in the creep. That'll get us the roll if we have it here. Okay. Okay. All right, so if I get the roll from this, I should be able to... the original Screeps was JS only. Yes, the original Screeps was JS only, and then they basically sort of like hand-waved away saying like, hey, if you... you can transpile to JS from many different languages. So of course we support many different languages, but more recently, both Screeps and then this game just from the beginning supports WebAssembly, and WebAssembly really opens it up to lots of different languages because that's now a standard that is very easy to hit for many other languages. So that's what we're doing here. We're doing Rust to program Screeps. So somebody has very nicely created a Screeps sort of library for us to use. So let's see. Okay, so let roll. So we're getting the roll that we previously attached to the creep. We can match on that. And the only one that we have is this collector. And so we want to do the run collector. Oh, wrong one. That one, run collector, pass it in the reference to the creep and pass it in the reference to my spawn. Okay, you're happy. So let's go ahead and run this and make sure that things are working out well. So we're playing this match against an idle opponent, so we don't have to worry about them attacking us. We just want to make sure that our spawn system is up and running, and that's all working good. So Wolfie Dev, since you probably haven't seen it, this is the new Screeps Arena. We're playing Spawn and Swamp. We have a spawn. There is tons of swamp around. They give us, in this specific game mode, we get 3 energy collectors here. And then after a little bit of time, energy collectors will start randomly appearing throughout the middle of the screen. And that's it. We have 2,000 ticks to kill our opponent spawn before they kill us. And that's the match. So our thing is going well. We're creating just an infinite number of really tiny creeps to sort of to collect energy for us. These are never gonna run. These are never gonna run out. Let's scrub through and go to the end of the match. Maybe we do run out eventually. No, we don't. They get. It actually can't create. Okay, it can't create any more. Okay, well that's fun. So we tie the match because we don't do anything successfully. So, but okay, I think that the collector's part is now working. So let's do either defenders or healers next. Like, what's the next most important one? Possibly healers, or maybe defenders. Maybe defenders would be the next important thing. Dota, hello. How are you doing today? Okay, so for a spawner. All right, so we want to go into game state. We're gonna have our hub have defenders 8 min defenders 8. Okay, half defenders, we're obviously starting it off with 0. For min defenders, I want to have, let's say we want 5 defenders. I might want more, but just sort of making this number up. Okay, so that's good for this. We go to our spawner. It's going to determine the needed role here. Okay, so if GameState.HaveCollectors is less than that, return. So it's actually just this. We'll do some else's. Okay, so if this, else if our GameState.have defenders, if that's less than GameState.min defenders, roll defender. Default role. Let's now change our default role to defender. So we'll create just an infinite number of those now. Defenders. Okay. How are we gonna sort of handle those? I want them far enough away from my spawn. I wonder if I should just have them just sort of like randomly moving around until a enemy is like nearby us, just to spread them out a little bit. Or we could set up a. Let's see. I wanna see what we have here. So we don't know what side we're on. We're either on the left side or the right side. We can figure out what our X and Y is and sort of figure out if we're on the left side or right side. Looking here, there's some space around here, and there's space sort of like all around. When we create them, they're just going to sort of appear within one of these. So maybe if there's no enemies nearby for them to defend, I might want Oh, unreachable code. Oh, because we're not running the defenders yet. So that's definitely a problem. But okay. So maybe I want here's our defender. Maybe I want you to be just sort of like randomly moving. Okay, so our spawner seems to be working with the defender here. So then I want a run defender. All right, so well we definitely need our creep. I kind of want something near, like a little bit closer, like a very specific one. So do our ourselves. That's going to be a creep. I do need the enemies and a rally point, which we can get the rally point from a spawn. So let's get spawn. Structure spawn. Enemies. It's going to be a reference to a vec of creep. Okay, so first up, the thing that we absolutely must know is where, like, are there enemies close to my spawn? So I'm gonna start that with a function. So function are, I guess, like, this will be the closest like, get the closest enemy to spawn. Like, logically we're doing say I want to essentially I want to do this. So if let sum, so because it could be nothing, right? Like, I want the closest enemy to spawn, but specifically I want, like, not just closest enemy to spawn, I want, like, within a certain range, so within the attacking range of the spawn. So this is an enemy equals get closest enemy within attacking range, within threat range. And we can pass in our enemies. All right, we know we have to return an option for this. So we're gonna also, we have to pass in this spawn to know what the threat range is. So our spawn is a reference to spawn. Our enemies are that. It's going to be an option with a reference to a singular creep inside. Okay. We need. So we want to get the closest. Do a let closest enemy is spawn dot find closest by path. So find closest path. Okay, that gives me an option like this, so we can turn this into an if-let sum. All right, well, this is pretty simple. If there's none within whatever our threat range in is, well, like if there's no enemies to be close because they're dead, this is obviously a none. If you're in here, at least one enemy exists, so therefore, and is within some, like, we can actually find a path to it. I want to now determine the range to this, so that distance to enemy equals spawn get range to, and this is to an object. So it can be a closest enemy. That gives me a U8. And so I need a threat range. Let's say our threat range is 10. Arbitrary number, it's fine. You just learned some new stock stuff, which is awkward, as 2 weeks ago you bought a stock and it was like, FML, does the old stock match with the new good numbers? I don't know enough about stocks to, like, yeah, for me it's like, if I were to buy stocks, it'd be like, well, I guess this is a guess. It's gambling. Okay, so if distance to enemy, if this is less than or equal to our threat range, then I want to return, I want to return the enemy. So I need to get the creep. Okay, so there's a couple things here. So we want to return a sum, and then inside of that, I need an object to creep and pass it in a reference to the closest enemy. Else, it's a none. It's a none because we're just gonna, as far as the defenders are concerned, we're not doing that. In this case, this is going to be full ownership of a creep too. Oh, this already returns an object. Okay, so I don't need the sum around it. Excellent. All right, so then you. Mismatch types, expected a reference array. Expected like an actual array. So I need an array of these enemies. I think we can do creep to array. Enemies. That. There we go. Okay, so now get the closest enemy within threat range. We have this enemy. I want to just full out attack them. It was good on the new numbers too. Felt in some way lucky that was the case, but it wasn't really. They have good financials. Well, it's like if you can predict that stuff and like give yourself a better than average return rate, then you're just gonna make money over the long run. Like to me, if I was to do it, I would probably want to like write a bot to just like take all emotion out of like the deciding of that kind of stuff. But like every time I go down to say like, oh man, I want to do that, I then get I don't actually follow through with it. There's like too much. There's too much to sort of like have to learn in that, and I have other things that I want to do. It's not predicting. You're checking their current financials if they make money and running numbers to see if they're underpriced. The running numbers to see if they're underpriced is maybe like that. How do you know? Well, it to me it feels like black magic. I don't know. Maybe it's probably something where it's like you can actually do that and come up with a real number. It's I've never been into it enough to really like dive down. The second is more murky than the first, and that's the point where it's like, how do you know, and how easy it is to delude ourselves of like I like the company, and make sure that that doesn't become the answer of is the company undervalued. Okay. Get closest enemy within threat range. That's some enemy. Creep equals. Okay, so we have an enemy. An enemy is close by. We need to attack it. With these specific creeps, they have a ranged attack and a melee attack, and they don't have healing, so we can do both of them together. So we can do. I believe we can do all of them together and just sort of move towards them at the same time. So we can do creep dot attack the enemy. I don't even care about the return code. Creep dot ranged attack the enemy, and then creep dot move to the enemy. That's it. Like we just do those. Now, if we don't have any enemies close to us, I want to find a I want to find like I want to get what the like the staging area, I guess. So function, I'll do another like sort of error driven development here. So like let's do staging area. I need an object with an X and a Y on it. That's all I would need, because I think I can move to, if I move to, you're a target, just a JS value. That's it. So I just needed like an XY, which I think I have something in utilities, but okay. So let's staging area equals, let's see, get staging area. We'll pass in the spawn for that. Okay, so staging area for this, I want you to be an object. The JS value? I think I just want this to be an object, because that can be turned into a JS value, I believe. Okay, so let's do it. This is a to-do. So we get this staging area. I want to make sure that the object, the type, works with this first before I go and do all of the logic for it. Okay, so if I get the staging area, I want to move to it. So creep dot move to, so it's a JS value. So maybe I have to do that instead of an object. But all right, a reference to staging area. Well, you seem to be fine. So maybe that'll work as we want to. Okay, so I need to create a new object. Do I have anything in utilities for this? Yeah, create a position object which has an X and a Y. So perfect. That's exactly what I want. So I want to return create a position object. The X is our left and right. That's going to be sort of unknown here. And then our Y is... Let's do let Y... This is going to be simple. We're going to choose the spawn. So spawn dot Y is going to be our Y here. The X is going to be a little bit more interesting. We have to find out which side we're on and then choose the right side or the left side. So let's do let X equals if spawn dot X, if you're less than, I don't know, 20, then you're on the left hand side. So if you're on the left hand side, I want it to be spawn.x plus like 5. Otherwise, I want spawn.x minus 5. And then we're going to create the position object with this X and Y. And now our defenders should now go and hang out there. All right, let's try this and see if this works. So I'm guessing that we should have a whole bunch of defenders built and just like a group of them over there. Just like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm thinking right around here, we're going to start seeing like a whole bunch of them be, collected together. Unreachable. Well, running the actual code would probably be helpful. So if we have a defender, we want to run defender. We'll pass it in our creep, a reference to my spawn, and all right, so we need enemies now. Let's try that. Okay, so creating the first 3. Still unreachable. Okay, I saved. Okay, so we have defenders, run defender. This lack of a crashing stock market sucks for buying stocks. Like, it wasn't very long ago that everybody that I know was complaining about the stocks being down. So I guess it's more of like a growing stock market now. All right, so which one of you So unreachable in this context means that it hit like one of our to-dos or a panic for some reason. I don't think we have anything that's creating like an attacker, healer, or unknown. So if we go through this, we get our creeps, get the enemies, get the spawn, we figure out what these are. Init is doing a from on roll, which is then grabbing this and like turning it into the specific role type. So we should have defender. Oh, this is the first time we've used defender, so maybe attach to creep. We take the creep. Self.js value. Okay, so here's JS value. I want defender like this, and then the get the defender is the same here. So that should give us a defender. Okay. Now defenders, we're creating tough, range attack, and then 3 moves. So you have tough, range attack, and 3 moves. Okay, so that would seem to be that you're a defender here. Okay, so back to you. Game state init is the first place where it could crash here. Oh, defender right here. Here we go. Game state dot have defenders. This equals to 1. Okay. This is that was probably it. All right, so now we should see our creep start moving off to the right to their staging area. And there it goes. Yeah, that's sort of what I expected. And if we wait long enough, we should get a whole bunch more. They're also sort of like trying to go into the same place. That's fine. All right, so our defender seems to be working. Okay. All right, so what's next? Let's go into our. We're gonna start at the beginning with this, so we don't screw it up this time. So in it. What's next? We have probably healers. Probably healers. So a pub have healers do 8. Okay. You know, I might want to. So if this doesn't work or it makes it like too hard, I might want to like retool my sort of like role system to we have like a role, but then I might also want to like have a group, sort of like how you have in like a what you do like a control one or something like that in StarCraft, and then you can like kick it again and it just picks up all the units that you put into that control group. If we do that, then I can say like, well, this control group has like 2 healers, 2 melee attackers, and 4 rangers, or something like that. And then each of them would run in the context of their group, and then also in the context of their role, uh, which could be really interesting. But okay, I'm not doing that right now. For healers, so min healers, we have that for a healer down here. Game state dot have healers less equals to 1. For self here, we have healers 0. Min healers is I probably want something like I don't even know, 3 healers maybe at all times. I really don't care that much about my healers, I don't think. So let's create 3. Okay. Back to use. That's our game store. Then we run our spawner. Okay, so then we're gonna create healers are next. So else if game state dot have healers is less than game state dot min healers role healer. Okay. Then we loop through you, and okay, we need to create a run healer. Okay, so we know we need ourself. So we need a reference to a creep. And then I believe we just need all of the other, just all creeps. So like the others. Like maybe we'll call these friends. Okay, so first off, if we're damaged, we need to heal ourselves. So keep ourselves alive if possible. So if like let's do an is damaged. Taking a creep. This will be creep dot okay, so if our hits are less than creep dot hits max, then we're damaged. So it's damaged. So if is damaged, pass in just ourselves. Then we want to creep dot heal creep. All right. So, and then that's the end of that. So, Um, I suppose if we are damaged, do I also want to retreat back, like start retreating back to our spawn? Probably not. Probably just sort of like sit there and just heal yourself. At the very least, it'll be fodder and like take a little bit longer for other creeps to kill them. Okay, so around here is damage, creep heal. All right, great. Next up, we're not damaged. Now we need to find friends that are damaged. So we need okay, so we want to let damaged friends equal get damaged friends. Probably just gonna pass in the friends and function get damaged friends, take in creeps, which is a reference to a vec of creep. And this will be a slice. So actually, whenever I do this, I keep on forgetting. I don't need to like do a reference to a vector. I could do an array of creep like that. A slice, as it were. Okay. Okay, so then get down the creeps. And then I want to return probably just a subset of this as well. It could be a new vector. I don't think I would care one way or the other, but let's see if collect can handle this, or otherwise. Actually, it would be a new vector. It'd be a vector with a reference in the inside, so it would be a vector with a reference to creep at this point. All right, so we're gonna take in creeps. We'll get an iterator over it, and then we'll filter. I wonder if I can just pass in is damaged here. Like that. And then I want to collect this together and return it. Can you do that? Type mismatch. Expected signature of reference to a creep. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, fine. Fine. I'll just do it the long way. Oh, because it's a double reference. That's why. Okay. Yeah, that seems to be happy. All right, so we get our damaged friends, which is now a vector with a reference to a creep in it. I want to find the closest friend. So that closest damaged. I guess it's just close. Oh yeah, closest damaged friend. Equals dot find closest by path. Oh, we need this to be an array. So this is going to be creep to array. Damaged. And you need to be the opposite. You need to be a reference to a vector with creep. Okay, fine. Give me that. collect, and then clone. So you're going to be a vector with a reference to creep inside, and then we'll clone you to be a vec construct. Oh, that's too bad. Filter. I guess I could map. Okay, so now I own this. So this is the damaged friend. You're a that, and you're that. Let's see. It's possible that this is a none, so we probably should do this as an if let sum. SkyWest is American airline. I don't know. I've never taken SkyWest. And it's not something I've even looked for in the airlines. Sounds familiar, but I've never really looked into them. So if I tried to guess, I would give you probably bad, bogus information. Okay, so now I have a closest damaged friend. I want to attempt to heal them. So then I want to get this back to a creep. So that equals object to creep. Pass a reference to the closest damaged friend here. We can unwrap you safely. I do not live in Utah. I live in Colorado, which is close to Utah. But yeah, we're one state away. I know somebody who lives in Utah, but I don't like that. Unfortunately, I've passed through Utah. I've driven through the Salt Flats, but that doesn't really help. Like that, none of that is going to give me the information that you need. Okay, close object. Okay, so now I've got a closest damaged friend. I want to, essentially, I want to attempt to heal them. So if, just wondering how well known the airline is. For me, I don't know it at all. So, yeah. Like, I know things like Frontier, Southwest, the big ones like United, the Spirit still around. Spirit, let's see. What are those other big ones? Like I know somebody who works at Delta. You're not sure air travel will ever return to the glory days. Probably will eventually, but people need to start traveling again, obviously. Okay, so if this is gonna be if creep dot. Okay, so attempt to melee heal the closest damaged friend. If that equals return code not in range, then attempt to ranged heal the closest damaged friend, but then also creep dot move to let's see, Creep.move to our closest damage friend. Okay, so if we're damaged, heal ourselves. If a friend is damaged, get the closest friend and attempt to heal them, moving closer to them to heal them with like the max ability with the melee heal. Okay, great. If there are no if nobody's hurt at all, I probably want to move back to the defenders to help heal them. So that would be a part of this one. So this is an else. Okay, so right here. Else we need our staging area. So let staging area equals staging area. Okay, so I need the spawn to figure out what the staging area is. So we need this is going to be an object. We're going to be at a create position object. And the X and the Y. So we're going to do exactly the same thing that we did here. For the Y is simple enough. This is going to be the spawn dot Y. The X, I probably want this to be like right with the so let's do that X equals if spawn dot X, if that's less than 20, we're on the left hand side, so return spawn dot X plus like I don't know 3. So it's a little bit less than the defenders. I think that'll be fine. Okay. Else, I want spawn.x less than 3. Okay, and that will be our act here. So let's get our staging area. You need spawn. And then we're going to move towards there. So creep dot move to staging area. Okay, then let's see. So run the healer. We'll have a creep. Friends is all of my creeps. And the spawn is my spawn. Okay. Not much to check here. We should just be able to run it and find if we create healers and they move to the spawning area. That's pretty much what we're going to be looking for here. So 3 collectors. We should have 5 defenders. there's 5. And here is our healers sort of showing up right here. They have a tiny little green little end on them. So that's how we know. All right, so as far as we know that works, we need to get into combat to actually like verify for real that it's going to work as expected. And this is going to just create an infinite number of healers from here. So great. Last up. Attackers. So I want a minimum number of attackers. Well, everything else is going to go into attackers, so I'm okay with this. But a minimum number of attackers that I want would probably be something like 10. That being said, I'm probably not going to care at all about this. Cool. I recently learned that I can go back and forth between different pages or different files that I'm looking at. With on a Mac, it's Command Option, and on a Windows, I believe that's going to be Control Alt, left and right arrows, which is nice. So now I can do the things where I do like the go to a file. Where am I? I'm at Run Defenders. I'm just going left on it. Oh wait, no, that's not exactly what I was expecting. Okay, that's just left and right on here, which is something else. Okay, never mind. It's also nice, but not exactly what I was thinking. Okay, so like for example, if I go to prototypes, well, I guess that goes one to the right of it, so I can go like that. That's still nice. Okay, so run collector. Okay, so in my mod here, we did our game in it. Next up is run the spawner. So our default role is going to be attacker. So basically, I'm going to ignore the math for this. If we have enough of everything else, just create attackers. Just go for it. So that should be fine now. And now we need to run the role, as it were. So I'm thinking a spawny, like we're gonna want a to have enough of them in here. Okay, so attackers. Yes. Okay, what are we going to need to do? Well, we need to take in ourselves. So that's a creep. It's a reference to a creep. I'm also thinking we want to know how many of us we have. Which is fine. We can actually take in game state for that. Game state. Reference to game state. Okay. So how do we want to do this? If we don't have very many of us, I guess like I want to like hold off and like stage until we have like a certain number. So maybe let's create like a const for that. So const it's like group size before attack. So you'll be a U8, and let's just say I want, I don't know, 15. Arbitrary number. Probably too large. I'm guessing we're going to be attacked before I can actually get 15 attackers together. Okay, let's actually just make this something like 8. Like around half the number, round up or so. Okay, so I want to know if we have this group size, we're attacking. If we don't have the group size, just go to the staging area and do that. So let's say if game state dot have attackers, if this is now greater than or equal to group size before attack, then it's time for us to attack. Time for us to attack. I want to do the equivalent of like an A move, like that's the good old like, you know, hit A on the keyboard, click on the opponent's base, and then just sort of ignore them. They attack anything on their way over to the opponent's base in, you know, any RTS game like StarCraft. So I need a list of all, because they would stop to full attack within their own threat range. So we need a threat range. You're gonna be a U8 equals, let's say like 5 is our threat range. So I need to loop through and find enemy. Okay, so I need enemies. So we reference to a okay. So I want, okay, so I want to find enemies within this threat range. So I want to do guess we'll get them first, so that enemies within threat range is equal to get enemies within. We'll probably pass in our creep and the enemies. Okay. We're going to return a brand new vector with a reference to a creep inside. All right, so first of all, I need to loop through all of our enemies and get a distance between the creep and the enemies, which I think is relatively... I wonder if I can get a map of that. I probably can. So let's get enemy distances equals creep dot. Oh, I want to do this the other way. Enemies. Oh, it's a get distance 2, I think. Get range 2. Enemy. Okay, so that gives me a U8 here. I can actually do this all in one go. So I've converted all the enemies to just numbers, which is like how far away they are. So that's not really helpful, is it? I kind of need both. So it's really going to be a filter. So a filter. We have an enemy. It's gonna be creep that get range to enemy is gonna be less than or equal to threat range, and then we'll collect. You this double. Ooh, now I need lifetimes because it doesn't know which one it is. So I need to do... Can I do that? I think so. Okay, you mismatched types expected a reference to an object, found a reference to creep. Right, I need to turn it into an object first. I think I can do... Oh, how do I create an object from a creep? I'm kind of surprised that I can't do just enemy in here. Fine. Okay, so I need to create a position object from the enemy.x. That should work. Okay, so that gives me the range to... Oh, I don't have to do... Okay, hold on. I don't want to do get range to. That's my problem. I'm doing the wrong method. I want to do... get hold on. Creep dot find no, I do want get okay, fine. But I realized now I could do find in range. Would change this entire thing around. Okay, so I need an array of enemies. So that enemies. This is gonna be a group to array enemies. So let's make you like that. Yes, I know. I'm not done. I'll get there. Okay, so I have now an array of enemies. A JavaScript array of enemies. I want to find within that and return that. Okay, so we're going to return creep dot find in range. Oh, but this is going to turn an array. Okay, so I want to do let enemies in threat range equals this. Positions is enemies. Range is threat range. Okay, that gives me the array. And now I want to convert the array back to wow, I want to convert the array back to a vector of creeps. I don't think I have anything like that, do I? I don't. This is array to creeps. We're going to take in the creeps, which is a reference to an array, and we're going to return a, I guess, a vec of full creep. So, how do I deal with arrays here? What can I do? Creeps dot I see like a find. Oh, there's an iter. Okay. So iter want to map. Okay, so oh right, you're a JS value. So I want to take that and oh, but you're an object to a creep. So I want to do the same thing here, except it's JS value to creep. I wonder if I want to like create another function here, just a private function. And this could be ID to creep. So hold on, I'll pretend to write it first. So I'll do get creep by ID. Pass it in creep dot. Oh, but I can't do that. I need to reflect to get the ID first. Which is a potential option. This should always work, so I want this to crash if it doesn't. Okay, so I'm going to return a result. And then inside of this, we'll have a vec of creep. Okay. So let's actually just name this creeps array, just to be explicit. We'll do for sort of like JS creep in creeps array. It gives me and this weird JS creep item. I want to grab the ID off of the creep. Okay, I want to grab the ID off of the creep. So, and if this doesn't work, I want to error out. Yeah, because like I'm passing in an array. If I don't have anything at all, it would be a none. It shouldn't happen if there is not a creep here. So I think returning it as an error would be okay. So if let some, we'll have, this will be a ID equals, we'll use the reflect API. So get the target is this JS creep, and the key is JS value from stir ID. It is an odd. Oh, it's a result. Okay. Actually, in that case, can I just do let ID equals this? Okay. So, that gives me, I'm trying to question mark this. I can't tell. Okay, hold on. To do. Reference to array is not an iterator. Okay, so can I do iter like that? Ah, now I get this JS value, so JS creep. Got it. So, I want a reference for you. Mismatched. I want closing there. And you... Because it's a JS value, I can't do this. Great. Okay. So it's not a real error with a JS value in it. It's just like one of those, I don't know what it is. Great. Okay. So I do need to do an if let, or I should do a match. Okay, so let ID equals, and then we'll match here. Okay. For the match arms. Okay, so if we get okay, we get the ID, and I return the ID as a number. These IDs are in fact numbers. So this is going to be ID dot as F64, I guess. Otherwise we get this error, which I don't know if I actually care about. But I should have a message on it. And I should be able to do a bail. Error getting ID from creep. Oh, of course I can't get the message off of it. Fine. I'll just ignore you. Okay, so now I have the ID, which is this is also an option. So let's unwrap you. Okay. Then okay, so I have the ID here. I want to use this ID to get the creep inside of here. So I want to now get object. Okay, so let I guess we can match this too. Okay, so if you're an option, so we don't know, like we think that you're that. So if let error ID, it's not error. If let none. Equals an ID. I want to warn ID on creep is not a number. Sad face. And we need to immediately return. Actually, I could just do a full bail on this. So bail ID on creep is not a number. Okay, now we have an ID. We know that it's an ID. I could do an if let sum. Maybe that would have been better. So if let sum ID equals ID. Else do that. Okay, so I have this ID now. I want to get the object by ID. So I want to let, this is going to be an object creep equals get object by ID, pass it in. Oh, and this just needs to be a JS string. And you're a JS value. Could I just do this and not even worry about you? Okay, so hold on. I want to get object by ID, pass it in, a reference to the ID. Can you work? No, you cannot work. Expected reference JS string. Okay, so dot. I can do an as string, which is this option. Unwrap. Okay. So get object by ID gives me a option here. So really, this should be the creep object. So the other thing is, like, I am doing an unwrap on that get object by ID, so the ID, which sucks. So if I were to do that elsewhere, so an okay, I have this ID here. I wonder if I want to just bail out if we can't. Yeah, let's try that. So let's convert this into a string. So if let some ID, this is like the string ID. So I'm going to return you. And if we have an else, I want to immediately bail and say ID was not a string. Okay, so now I have a JS value here. So I don't need to do this unwrap. I can just say, here's this ID. Oh, I want you to be a JS value. Oh, interesting. It gives me a JS value, not a JS string. Can I actually get the thing? So JS creep dot As string gives me a full string. Okay. This comes out of here. Okay. Okay. So why are you saying that you're a JS value? So creeps. Oh, wait, hold on. ID is now a string. Okay, I was looking at the wrong thing. So ID is now a string. Excellent. So I want to turn that ID. Okay, so JS value. So we're going to do a reference. So a JS string. From stir and a reference to the ID. That gives me a result. Can I question mark you? You're upset now. What are you upset about? Oh, right. You're gonna be a full vector. We don't need these lifetimes anymore. Okay. Nope. Hold on. That. Okay. So back to you. I mean, there's no errors right now, so that should be fine. Project, that. Okay. Okay. This is now a game object. I want a game object to creep. Okay, but this should be fine. Okay. Do I really need... I'm trying to... I'm thinking because I think I might be overcomplicating this. So I'm going through each of these, and I'm getting the ID out. I think all I need to do at this point was this weird thing where I have like the creeps array. I think that's where it gets weird. So I turn this into an array and find in range, which gives me just this array back. And I would love to now turn this back into a vector. Okay. But I'm thinking that like it just is gonna be, it's less efficient but it might just be better to not do like this entire thing. It's like find in range. Okay, I'm just gonna bail on this. So I don't need to do that. Just run attackers. Let's instead of this. Okay, so I don't need to create the array. Let's just do a normal loop through our enemies. Let's also get the enemies within threat range. Okay, this is going to be like pretty simple. So we're just going to say all right, so I want to enemies hitter going to filter okay, so let like range equals creep dot get range to our position object. So let enemy position object okay, that gives me the range here, and I want to keep it if the range is less than or equal to threat range. And then I want to collect these back together. But this is now going to be a reference that, which means I need my lifetimes again. Very happy. Okay, so now I have my vector of creeps, so enemies within the threat range. I want to find the closest enemy within here. Okay. So to get the closest enemy, and I wonder if I should do this all in one go, because this is like multiple iterations through this array. I don't know if that's really necessary. So getting enemies. If I check in here, I mean I could just get the first enemy within threat range, but I think I want the closest enemy to me within threat range. Which will be, let's see. So I can actually return a tuple, and I think we did this before. We can return. So here we filter out to get the range to them, and then I want to map. Okay, I want to map. we're going to get the enemy in here, and I want to return a tuple that has maybe like the get the range to. Oh, so let's actually do this before the filter. So we're gonna do a this in here. Let's see, group dot get range 2. Okay, hold on. Get the position. Get the range. So creep dot get range 2. Enemy position. And then we're now going to return a the range and then the enemy. So that's what's returned in the map. So then we filter. We have this enemy. So we have the range and the enemy. If the range is less than or equal to the threat range, we keep it. And then we collect this into a vec of, and this is going to be a U8 for the range, and then the creep. Expected, dereferenced range. Okay. Don't need to do that anymore. Okay, great. So now we have this. I want to sort this by the enemies within threat range. Okay, so that's going to be, you need to be mutable. So we're going to do enemies within threat range dot sort by. We have a comparison function. How does this work? Comparison takes in A and B. So A and B. And it's like what? A is less than or something like that. Oh, I can do, okay, partial compare B. That's easy. So we can do A dot 0 partial compare B dot 0. What are you upset about? Ownership? Found enum option. Why are you an option? You should be a U8. Oh wait, does partial compare return an option? Oh yeah, some. Yes, this could be an unwrap. You mismatch types, consider borrowing here. Okay. Okay, so now I've sorted the enemies within threat range. So I just want the first one. And then we are going to attack and move towards it. So okay, so attack and move towards it. So let's see, we have both ranged and okay, so we're just gonna do all of our attacks. So we'll do creep dot attack. Oh, let's get our enemy out. So equals enemies within threat range, 0, dot 1. There we go. Okay, so attack the enemy. Creep dot ranged attack the enemy. Creep dot move to the enemy. Okay, so that's if we have enough attackers and I get enemies within threat range. I sort by this. Okay, so really at this point in time, I also want to do like another if statement here. So if not enemies within threat range is empty. Okay, so we have enemies. So in that case, I want to sort the enemies by their ranges, and then get the first one and attack it, and then move to it. Why don't you? Okay, never mind. All right, so we're moving out, but we don't have any enemies within our threat range. I want the spawn. This is the enemy spawn. So else at this point, we're going to attack, range attack, and move to the enemy spawn. Okay, so that's if there's enough of us and there's no one around us, we're just going to go off and attack. If we don't have enough of us, we want to go to our staging area. So we'll take in our spawn. And this will be I guess like just the object. Right, I think it's just the object. So I probably want this to be just above. Let's just make this really, really simple. We'll create a position object. This will be above the spawn, above our spawn. So we'll do spawn.x spawn.y plus minus like 5. And we'll return that. Okay, so I need my spawn too. And then we're just gonna move towards that. So creep dot move to staging area. That's it. Ooh, a lot. But okay, let's see if that works. So we're gonna go here. If we're in attackers, we'll run attackers. Okay, so we want my creep, reference to game state, a reference to the enemies. I need the enemy spawn. This will be a reference to the enemy spawn, and then a reference to my spawn. Okay. Okay. Get spawned. Yeah, we're gonna unwrap you. Okay. No errors. Let's first see. We should be able to defeat the idle opponent, because we should get our 10 groups and then all go off and attack, and we do. Okay, so let's watch this. 561s. That's better. So let's see what it looks like. So we create our collectors, we create our defenders, and then our healers. Then we start building out our attackers. And there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, 7. Oh, and the 8th is on the way. Interesting. So I might want to wait a little bit longer. But okay, there they go off in their nice slow sort of movement. I get tons of them on the board now. They're really small. And they're all going to come down here. And they are attacking and ranged attacking at the same time. And this should, yeah, this falls pretty quickly. So let's go back and see if we can beat some. All right, we'll try Fred the Magical Brick. Let's see if there's the most recent opponent that we failed to beat. Let's see if we can beat that one. Maybe? Defeat in 605 ticks. So that's pretty quick. I wonder if they rush me and I ignore it. Okay, so we're on the right-hand side here. They're on the left. Is this one of the ones where they do some like really tricky stuff? I may want to like just create less collectors and all that fun stuff. Let's see. I got my defenders going. Okay, so I'm going off with my attackers. So here's where our attackers are going to clash with theirs. They've got bigger creeps. So that's we're not going to survive that. I wonder we could try the exact same strategy but make bigger creeps. And maybe that would work. Like I delay them, but we're going to run out of energy really fast. and our defenders are unaware of yet because they're not within sort of the threat range. Oh, I now have not enough units now. So I'm retreating. I'm retreating. Okay. Now that would certainly be interesting. That would certainly be interesting. What if I were to turn all of my, like if I don't have enough attackers, they get turned into defenders. In a way, yes, Epic. Although I've wanted to do that for a while. I think my main difference would be I would probably go for more of a what is it called? I would probably go for more of a battle royale sort of style programmable game. But the same idea of Screeps where you have like individual units there, or a sports game. One of those two, like either a sports game or a battle royale. So I could find it like really fun to do maybe like a soccer game where you join a team, but you only control your one character. Can your team now work together? I guess like the other thing is a MOBA could be really fun to do that with. I sort of like I want to see whether or not it's possible for people to write collaborative bots. That would be really interesting. Imagine a Command and Conquer type game where when you build your units, you need to pick what firmware they will be programmed with, and you don't manually control each unit. That could be interesting, yeah. All right, so my defenders are doing their best, but that's not enough. So anyways, let's keep like the ideas in mind. Like let's keep coming up with ideas for like a game like that because I do want to build one. I think it could be a lot of fun. It would be sort of like a niche game. I don't think there's an audience for like selling that. Okay, now we're dead. So let's try a couple different things. Let's simply make our roles bigger. So can I just undo to like make you the biggest? Yeah, okay. So these are what I had before. Like attackers were this. Oh, I also need to do the calculations anyways. So hold on. So for role unknown, we'll do a warn unknown role and panic. Okay, there's that. Okay, so defender. The problem with targeting programmers is that programmers tend to get inspired and want to build their own version. That's exactly what the problem is. So the only thing I can think of, and this is where like your idea might be really interesting. Imagine if it was like a collaboration between programmers and non-programmers. So imagine usually I don't think the games like that target pro players are like good. Usually it's like for like the professionals, like those games come out of just really good games. But let's like go into that sort of like not great design pattern here. Let's imagine that we have like a pro game like sort of circuit, and professional gamers are very good at like controlling, micromanaging their sort of like units. But also imagine that each pro gamer can have a programmer behind the scenes that makes their AI. So somebody is very good at micromanaging. So they say, don't spend all of your CPU time micromanaging the units. Instead, I want you to just do the Sim City, like like build the base up and give me lots of units. I will micromanage them in the field. And then it could also be the opposite. I don't care about the micromanagement part. I want to Zerg rush this. I will build the city, and I want to just say, you're building. You will always build these units. Just go off and attack. So things like interesting ideas there. Let's keep on like writing this down, and we can maybe like discuss it in the Discord too, so we don't lose it. Because like yeah, we might be able to find some like interesting things to play around with it. That being said, I need to take a quick break, grab some water, and also a calculator. Well, my phone, so I can calculate body sizes. So I'll be right back. All right. I think for these type of programming games, and I've seen a few of them. I played several of them. They're fun. Like I like them. Um, I almost imagine that maybe I could create an engine where I can build like very simple, basic programming games that sort of use the same general idea, but different things happen. So like team-based games, RTS games, that kind of stuff. Just like very small, tight experiences. I'll have to think about like how to potentially do that. Maybe I can turn that into a course too of like how to create like create a programming game to increase your programming knowledge. I don't know. That that could be fun too. Right. So enough of that. Uh, where's my calculator? Here that is. Um, okay, so our storage can hold up to 1,000. So, okay, up to 1,000. You like the idea that a game team can be split into programmers and non-programmers. I've always really liked the idea of artificial intelligence, well, AI, not replacing people, but augmenting people. So that sort of goes along with that same idea here. I do like that a lot. There could be like so many different areas that we could take this, because like it could be an RTS style game, but this could also be a like spaceship game where like you have like various AI that are subsystems for the spaceship, and you're like installing modules and like dealing with all that. Like so many ways we could take this. Now making it fun is a completely different problem altogether, like whether or not that would be fun. All right, so I'm starting with 1,000 and creep. Okay, so here's our body costs for each of these. Now, fast would be nice, but I don't know if it's like that completely necessary. I would like to have a single move for every body part that we put on here. So really we want to increase everything by 50 whenever I do these calculations. And okay, move decreases fatigue by 2 points per tick. And I need one move to counter each heal plus 1. There was something about how much fatigue you get from what is it called? How much fatigue you get from a swamp, and I want to say it's not really helpful. The cost for walking on swamp positions, the default is 10. You'd have sensors, inputs, outputs, converters, as well as components, and programmers could use these. to build modules like fuel purifiers for a spaceship, and the code could generate more or less pure fuel depending upon how complex it is. What would be interesting is that you might be able to end up with a game where people are like, I refuse to join the automation revolution. I'm going to just have my ship with like its complete manual everything, and not automate anything at all, versus like I have ships with like very minimal crew. I guess you could have like a manual crew that does it. So you could have like human versus hybrid battles. That would be fascinating. Okay, so the cost for walking on swamp positions, the default is 10. So each move part reduces cost by 2. So I need 5 moves to counteract a swamp. So I need 5 moves to counteract swamp. 5 times 50 is 250. Yeah, 250. So already starting off with 1,000 minus 250. So we have 750 left. So then for each one of these things, I need to add like 50 to it. So I'll do, so minus an attack, 80 plus 50 is 130. Minus 30, 620. So we can do parts, move, said like we need 5 of them. Okay, so 5. And then we have attack. Okay, so that's 620. And then ranged attack. So ranged attack is 150, so 200. So 420 left. If I don't do any toughs, so each of these together is 80 plus 150 is 230, plus 100, 330. So one more series of each of these, so 2 of each. So then so that would be then 4 total move parts. So I think this would be like essentially defenders probably don't need to move that fast because they're never on swamp. So 1, 2, okay, hold on. This is an attacker. Um 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can get rid of those right away because we're never on swamp. And so this is what, 230, 1,000, minus, I guess like it wouldn't be minus, it'd be divided by 230. So I can do 4 of each. So So 4 of each, And that would be 8 total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Healers are going to be interesting. So I want okay, so Vec, Heart. So if I only have heal and move, that's 300 each. So 1,000 divided by 300, 3. So I can have Heart Heal, 3 of these, and then I want but I want you to be fast too, don't I? So it's not really that easy. It's 750 divided by 300. I have 2.5. So 2 heals. Heart move. So 2 of those and then 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the swamp. Okay. Collectors. I want 5 for the swamp. So starting at 250. So 750 divided by. We're gonna have just carry. I don't need work. I just need carry. So that's 50 plus a move. So that's essentially 100. Okay, so I can get 7 of these. So nice. You can do heart, carry. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then heart, move. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So these would be giant collectors now that can just move super, super, super fast. So with that being said, our numbers can change. So in our I specifically want this in the spawner. Oh, no. It is going to be in the game state. Okay, so minimum collectors, I want 1. Minimum defenders, I think we can get by with maybe 2. I want 2 healers. So what if I have like 1 defenders, 1 healers, the rest attackers? I need to make sure we have plenty of time to create the attackers before they go off. And what say if we need like we need 3 attackers together before we go and do our attack run. Okay, so let's try that. Defeat in even less time. In even less time. Okay, did I cause like a problem with my code maybe? Clearly because I'm not spawning anything at all. Oh, you know what the problem is? It's waiting until I have a collector. Enough like, oh yeah. Yeah, waited this long to get a collector, which they're going to be on top of me. very, very quickly. And it takes forever. Before I even create my first collector, I've got this here. Okay, so that was a terrible idea. It's like they show up and I'm like, what are you doing? They literally were, it was so confused. It was so confused that I didn't have any units. Oh, fun. Okay. So, that won't work. What if we do the same size for collectors that we were doing before? Like, we need these to be really, really, really fast. So we just do like one carry and one move. That's it. Like, just do that. Okay, so if I do this, do I have a chance? Slightly longer, but not really. I think I need more than one collector. Oh, I'm at max, and uh-oh. So the next one is the defenders. These are clearly a little bit too expensive. So range attack is 150 and attack is 80. So hold on. So these are 80, 150, and then each move is 50. So let me double check my expenses here. So I have 80 plus 80 plus 80 plus 80, then 150. And then, yeah, I'm at 920 already before I even get to the moves. So that's clearly a problem. So I need to redo my math here again. So I need start this over again. Let's sort of do the combination together. I would want an attack, so 80 plus a ranged, so that's 150, plus then 2 moves for each of those, plus 50 plus 50. So each sort of like section of that would be 330. So if I take 750 and I divide it by 330, that's 2. I can get 2 of these per. Or I can be a lot slower and do okay. So what if I do 1000 divided by 230? I can get 4 then. So let's just be slower. So that is, I can do 4 of these. So part so we'll do part move for part attack. 2, 3, 4. Part ranged attack. 3, 4. Part move. 2, 3, 4. That's it. That's all I can do for defenders. And I think that's all I can do for my attacker. Like this, yeah, it's just 2 of them. Okay. I think it's taking too long. I need to build like 3 of those. Oh, but once again, I'm above 1,000. So this is not right still. This is what? 80 plus 150 plus 150 plus 150 plus 150. $920. Did I do my math wrong? So I'm at 1,000 store. But I must not have enough energy to build the thing. Okay, so it's 80 and then range attack is 150. Then move is 50. Okay. So hold on. Math is failing me. So I've got 80 plus 80 plus 80 plus 80. That's 320 plus 150 times 4. So that's what? 150 plus 150 plus 150 plus 150. Oh, it was 920 already. Yeah, okay. So then plus 50 plus 50 plus 50 plus 50. Yep, 1,120. So I need to remove 1 off of each of these. That should be fine. And then that should work. Took a little bit longer. I wonder if my other ones all have the same math problems. Okay, so now I have decent sized defenders, creating 1 defender, 1 healer. Okay, successfully creating the attackers. It's taking way too long to create my army. And my attackers are just sitting there. I think what I might want to do is change the role to attackers as soon as, like, okay, when they come out, they're a defender, and as soon as I have enough in like the staging group that's there, then they become attackers. And then, okay, then we all die. But yeah, I'm not sure how to beat these guys. It doesn't help that I'm not very good at RTS games. Like I I usually needed to like look up strategy guides when I'm playing like single player. The later ones when I was a kid, and I haven't played RTS games recently, so I need